Hello everybody and welcome to Lauren Loves Color. This is Lauren. I am here to show you what I have completed for the month of April. So these are my plans that I had originally talked to you guys about for the month of April. I just had very few goals for the month, just related to the fact that it was almost impossible for me to get all of this stuff done with everything that I had going on in work and my personal life. So 10 books to finish I did complete. I barely. I kind of worked on some of those, but I really felt for the month of April, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to color in what I want to color in. And that was really my motto. And so I didn't worry too much about my goals. So I did sort of complete 10 books to finish because I kind of count that I completed a book as towards that. April animal coloring, I did at least 4 pages out of here. I actually think I probably did more, but I didn't write all of them down. 10 books to start. I did also do another book there. Ooh, and I did not pick that book up. I need to go pick that book up. But I did start the Mystery Mosaics book 10. And then my color charts, I did not meet that goal. I did post the color chart for Sachin Sachdeva. If you're not aware of what that is, I created color charts. They look like this. I have this one kind of behind a sheet protector if you can see it. But what it is for the color by number books, I'm trying to go through all of my markers, make the matches, and then publish these charts for free for you in case you would like to use them. You can go below in the description box and click on my link tree. And inside of that, there is a link to color charts. I have one for Color Questopia, and then this one is for Sachin Sachdeva. I need to post the rest of these. So I am off today and tomorrow. It is the week of my birthday, and I decided to just take some time off of work. My kids are not home, and so I just decided I wanted to just do something for myself. So I may spend some of that time putting in some of those color charts because I just have some time and some peace and quiet. And so if I'm not coloring, I might as well just be typing. So I'm going to keep that. If you saw my plans for May, and I will try to remember to link that above, you will see for the month of May, one of my plans is to complete this because I really want to get this out and posted for you guys. So I will be working on that. For what you're going to see today is I completed a total of, I think, 36 pages out of 24 books. So let me grab real quick one more book that I forgot about. Here we go. All right, there was one more book. I apologize about that I forgot about. And so I just needed to add that one to my pile. All right, so let's take a look. Ooh, I've got very limited space here. Let's take a look at my empties. Now, this is for the past 2 months. Now, this is my first, I guess, time that I've really had any type of substantial empties per se. I love seeing what people use because this really is a good testament to what people use most frequently. I will tell you that what's a little bit hard is like with my Copics, I refill them constantly, so I don't have empties, but I think eventually I will have some empty refill bottles to show you because I've definitely refilled my Copics a few times. So I would probably have more, but because I use Copics, I don't have a ton of empties. Now this is from the past 2 months. I ordered some Copic sketch markers. This is Y06, and this one actually came to me damaged. There is a very small, if you can see it, little crack in the barrel. And so when I opened this marker, and this was sent to me by Dick Blick, it was, and you can even see on the nib there, it was totally dried out. So they did eventually send me a replacement for this, but that one is going in the trash. This is a Pen & Gear fine tip permanent marker. These are not my favorite. They don't match the barrels very well. They're from Walmart. You can get this brand, and so what I primarily use these for things like backgrounds, or some coloring books, or maybe have large spaces, Color Questopia books, things like that. I'm just kind of trying to get through these, so I have one of those. I have 3 of my Towel Tree markers. I have a green, a light blue, and an orange. I have a Cali Art brush marker in 318 Chartreuse. I love this green. And you what I have noticed and what's very interesting when I learn about this is that most of my marker colors that I use up are somewhat the same. I seem to go through green the fastest. Greens, oranges, and yellows, which kind of surprised me because I also use a lot of blue. Now there are a couple blues in here. These are my Cali art markers. I use these so much. These are one of my most heavily used markers. You can even see some of the wording is starting to rub off on them. I use these probably second most to my Copic markers. So I have a couple of reds here, our 107 and 218. I have an orange, I have a yellow, and then I have two very commonly used blues. So my Cali art markers, these were my original alcohol markers that I owned. So I bought these, I know, in either August or September of last year, and I'm starting to run out of them now. And considering how much I color, I think that is somewhat impressive. So let's move those over. I will recycle those. And then let's get to my coloring book. So the very first coloring book that I have to show you today, this is Mystery Mosaics book 10. What I decided to do, I had one page in here before, and what I decided to do this time was to use my towel tree markers. I had used Crayola Super Tips in here, and I just was not happy with the way that it turned out. Let me see if I can even find that page real quick for you. But it was kind of this, yeah, here it is, of this wolf. And I mean, while it still looks probably pretty good on camera up front, I still think it looks streaky. I don't know what it is. And I feel like I don't get as good a coverage with these water-based markers as I do alcohol markers. So I use my towel tree markers. I am so much happier with this. So much happier. So I think this turned out great. And so that will be what I use in this book moving forward. I was a little bit worried about some of these that were kind of like, you know, half one color, half another. And while there is a slight amount of bleed over, it's really not bad at all. But I did this beautiful sunset here. I love this. I love these books. This is the perfect, I realized I really enjoy these larger square books as opposed to the smaller ones. These are much more enjoyable to me. I wanted to do more in this book, but I had other things I needed to color, so I had to put that one down. Let's go on to Floral Mandalas Folk Art Style. This is the newest book by Debbie Densham. This book also I think is going to be colored in a lot by me. This one has the color palette down in the bottom of the book, kind of a suggested color palette that you can use for each page. It's on that nice premium quality, like shiny paper. So this was really cool. So I did this one. And I did this one, and I kind of matched as close as I could, but it's not an exact match to the color palettes that she has down below. I thought this was awesome. I thought these were great. I love this book. I love the concept of this book, and it's so relaxing and so easy. So there's a lot of really fun images in here, and the color palettes differ over time. So this is a really great book from her. Color by Color Stained Glass Mandala. If you follow me on Instagram or have been watching YouTube recently, you will have seen that I completed this book. So I did quite a few for the month of April. I did this one. I basically did the whole middle of the book. This book I had started in the back and then moved to the front and then kind of came back to the middle. And completed it. And this one, as I've mentioned many times before, is my suggested beginner book into the Color by Color series. So if you want to get into Color by Colors and are a little bit afraid of how to, that you're not going to figure out how to do the color matching really well, I highly suggest you get this book. It's a much more limited palette on each page, and because it's a pattern, it's a lot easier to figure out. I'm really hoping she comes out with another volume of this book because I think this one is just perfect. I love the smallness of the book. These images took me probably about 30 minutes a piece to do. This one was a buddy color with Pickwick Turtle. This was my first buddy color that I did with her, and I really enjoyed it, and I love how this particular image turned out. So yeah, so that is the last one that I completed in this book, and you can see on YouTube my flip through of the completed video of this. I like to use brush style markers on here, so I either use my Cali Art brush markers or I used my mostly I use my Copic markers in here. Next is in the Color by Color series, again by Shershneva. I'm trying to group some of the authors together to make it a little bit easier for you. This is the one that I did here of these dolphins swimming. The Tetris book is probably not my absolute favorite of hers. It's a little bit more complicated. It's kind of like, I think there's a group of people who like the larger 5x5 squares and the people who like the smaller 3x3 squares. I look at this Tetris book the same. If you like something a little bit more complex, this book definitely will provide it for you. These images are definitely take a bit more time to do. This probably took me over an hour, maybe an hour and a half or something to actually finish this. On this, I think I used just my regular Cali Art markers on this page. And I mean, I like it. I like the effect. I love the Color by Color series books, but I like probably her more traditional Color by Color books more. Like this one. This is probably the one that I will work on next most frequently. This is probably my next favorite. Oh, sorry, I'm having to reposition and I'm putting my head in the camera. So this is the Women's World book. This one is a fantastic book. So yeah, I definitely want to do more in here. So I colored this page here. And yeah, I will definitely jump into this book a little bit more now that I have completed the Mandala book. I was really trying to finish the Mandala book first before I jumped into that one. Chibi Girls, Grayscale, my favorite buddy color book thus far. I think I'll have many more buddy color books moving forward, but I really like to do buddy colors and non-color by number. It's fun to kind of see the differences between the images that that we cover. So, and I am so sorry because I am definitely going to butcher your name. Ylven. She's at Ylven's Coloring on Instagram. She buddy colored with me, and I'm sorry, these post-it notes were given to me by an employee a long time ago, or for a former coworker. So they're out there for me, but they don't have a swear word there. So I decided that it was okay. So I hope nobody's offended by that. But we colored this together, and I love how this turned out. So what I used on this page was, I think I used my regular Cali Art markers, and I did some shading just with my Crayola twistables. So I did some shading on the curtain here, and I did some shading on the floor to kind of make it look a little bit more like floor. I used some white gel pen, and I used some, what you'll kind of see with this glitter, these are stickles. I also used Jelly Roll Stardust a little bit on her outfit here. I used some Jelly Roll Glaze in those little clouds in the back. I used some, this is glossy accents on her eyes. So I kind of threw a whole bunch of stuff at it, but I really like how it turned out. I think it turned out really, really great. And think it looks just absolutely beautiful. So yeah, so thank you so much for buddy coloring with me. I had a lot of fun with this. I do love the glossy accents on the eyes. Gosh, that's just really, really stunning. So yeah, this is a lot of fun. So I really enjoy, I think every image I have done in this book has been a buddy color. And I thoroughly enjoy that. I've definitely got many more a buddy color to go. So if you are interested in coloring in this book, please reach out to me. You can find me on Instagram or put a message in the comments down below. I'm happy to get in touch with you and to coordinate doing a buddy color, because this book still needs some more love. Done quite a few in there, but I definitely want to do more. Let's move on to Belba family. So this is their newest book, Stone Mosaic 3. Stone Mosaic 2 is one of the ones on my 10 books to finish. I just completed the first page here, which were these little cute parakeets with some little hearts. I did this with my Cali Art brush markers, and I like that. This one has a lot more of the bigger stones, which I also really like. It's a little bit easier, not as complicated as some of the ones in the second book. So this is a really, really great series. If you don't own any of the Stone Mosaic books, I highly suggest you do. They're really fantastic. Mystery Mosaics, Wow Animals. I completed a page in here. I completed this with, it's at ER Joy Elizabeth Rector. You can find her on Instagram, and we completed this page here. I went back to my cross stitch style instead of the dot method because I think it works better in these larger books. With this, I used my Ohuhu water base. It's like a brush on one end, fine liner on another. Those were the pens that I used here. I already have those color matched and think this turns out really nice that way. So I loved these wonderful toucans. Again, I don't enjoy the 3x3 as much as I do the 5x5, but I love the images in this book, so was really happy to give this one another go. I'm just not as drawn to the 3x3 as I am to the larger ones. Here's Stone Mosaic 2. So this is their second book, and this one I am close to finishing. I'm over halfway done. This one is a book that I frequently pull out when I'm watching TV with my husband, which we don't get much time to do at all, but usually once or twice a month we get to sit down and watch a movie or TV together. And I color this little frog prince here. And then I colored this little outdoor patio, I guess, like this chair and stuff. So yeah, I'm over halfway done with this book. So I'm really getting to the point to where I'm getting close on this book and love this book. So this is just a fun, super relaxing book. There's no pressure to do anything fancy in this book. And yeah, I really, really enjoy it. So I do think this will be one I will realistically finish this year. Now we're getting started on the mandala books. Gosh, there were a ton of mandala books that came out this year. Debbie's book, this one, Color Questopia, also came out with one. And I love mandalas. I think these are beautiful. This one is, and I think every publisher did it slightly different, and all three are really, really fantastic books. This is the 50 Diamond Mandala Color by Number by Sachin Sachdeva. He does also have a non-color by number version of this. He's doing that with, I think, pretty much all of his books moving forward. If it's color by number, he'll publish a non-color by number. And I did a couple pages out of here. I think I mostly used Copics. I think I used my Copics for these, but I also used some gel pen in each of these. This one I kind of did a couple of random colors in gel pen here because I feel like, gosh, it's diamond mandalas. It's got to have something sparkly. This one I did, I think I just colored in my Copics, but I did Jelly Roll Stardust over some of the colors. And I kind of like that because it's a little bit more of a subtle shine. And looks really nice. So I wish I could have had an opportunity to get more done in here because I do really, really love this book. This is a really fantastic one, and my nails kind of match too. Sorry about hitting you guys. This is Sachin Sachdeva Stained Glass Nautical Designs. I remember I pulled this book out when I was just super, super stressed. I was kind of in the thick of going through things with work, and just work is just super busy right now. And so I pulled this one out just to have some time to just relax. And I feel like these stained glass books just really do allow you some time to just relax and kind of ease into things. And, you know, I love embellishing things. And so when you're able to color something simple like this and then embellish it, I just love it. And his use of color is so creative and just so awesome. So what I did was, I think I used did I use Copics or my Cali Art brush marker, some sort of brush marker probably on this. White gel pen to do some accent details here. I also used my colorless blender on the rocks and kind of on this like mountain here to give it a little bit of texture. And then I used some stickles in different areas of the sky and on the top of the lighthouse just to give it some extra depth and dimension, and I love how it turned out. I also did some outlining just in a darker brush. I probably used my Cali Art brush markers because I did some darker outlining here. And then I also, on the water, did some outlining, and this was somewhat unintentional. I meant to do it in Jelly Roll Glaze, but I accidentally picked up my Jelly Roll Metallics. So I actually have coming in the middle of the day a little bit of an organizer to start organizing my jelly rolls, because my jelly rolls, I was starting to get some of them confused. So what this is this is Jelly Roll Metallic, but I actually still kind of look like the look of the outline from the Jelly Roll Metallic. I think that looks really cool. So this one I'm really proud of. I've done, I think, a few different images in here, and with each one I've done something with stickles and something with outlining. I've done, I think, my very first one, I did the background in like Crayola regular Crayola crayons. And so I love just that these just inspire creativity to me, and I love the use of color in them. So Sachin does a lot of the hard work with the color, and then I'm able to go in and just add some details. Again, this book also comes in a non-color by number version if you're interested. His wife came out with the Love for You book. This is by Prachi Dewan Sachdeva, and this book is just so cute. Another book I wish I had more time to color in, and I did this one with these cute little bears opening presents. This one was simple. I think I just did this with Cali Art markers, and then I just did some white gel pen details. Other than that, I thought this turned out really cute. So really adorable image, lots and lots of really, really cute love themed images in this book. So yeah, really like this one. I like all my books, can I say? Mosaic Art Vacations. This is the newest book by Sachin Sachdeva. This is the 3x3. Now, I will tell you, I'm not mad at the 3x3 squares from Sachin because there's not as much change of color. So in cross stitching, we call it confetti, where when you're, because these kind of, to me, could be, they technically could be cross stitch designs. Cross stitch patterns look very similar to this, to where they have, basically they look exactly like this, where they have these little squares, little numbers in there, and then you're stitching a color for each number. So they technically are color by number, but just with thread. And where there are areas where there's a ton of different changes of color, we call that confetti, and it takes longer. Some people really like it because the effect usually is pretty cool. It gives more texture to the picture and things like that. But when there's, what I like is when the color's a little bit more consistent, because then it's not so hard to color. You're not constantly having to change colors or thinking about, you know, where exactly you have to color. And I feel like Sachin's books, even on the 3x3, aren't so confetti heavy like Belba's are, if that makes sense. I decided on this one too that I was just going to color it in, and I actually like that because sometimes when you do the cross stitch method, you still have to do a cross in each area, whereas like you see all of this like tan or light brown area here, I was able to just color really quickly and even use, I think, the chisel nib on my towel tray markers to color in a lot of it. So it went pretty fast. What's nice about Sachin's books too is the lines between each area are really dark black. And so you have a lot more, ability, sorry guys, you have a lot more ability to be able to use things like alcohol markers because it doesn't bleed as bad. Now there is some bleeding, but it's not that bad. So I did this one. I like it. The pages are single-sided again, so it's not like you're going to ruin the back page. But I did this one, which is kind of travel themed. Real cute little plane, either a backpack or suitcase, some glasses. I think these are keys, like a phone and tablet, a airplane, a magnifying glass and a map, and a camera. Not quite sure what this is. That was the only one I was a little thrown off by, but other than that, I think it was really cute, and I've seen some more images colored out of this book, and they're really, really nice. So if I'm going to pick up a 3x3mm book, I'm most likely to pick one up from Sachin just because they're a little simpler. Unless I'm just really feeling like challenging myself that day. This is the Unicorn Color by Number book by Prachi Dewan Sachdeva. This one is an older book of hers, but I picked up a copy and I really love it. I think this was done primarily with my my Copic markers, but maybe not. I was trying to test some of the colors. Some of them were running a little bit dry, and so I had to refill them. But yeah, I love how this turned out. I love the whole theme of this, about the unicorn just eating some chips and having a hamburger and drinking some coffee or whatever. And I think it looks really cute. The images in this book are really adorable. And so I'm excited to color some more out of this because it's really cute. I think I do want to do this birthday page. My birthday's tomorrow. So I think I may want to do a birthday page. I think that's really cute. Continuing, I've got a lot of Sachin Sachdeva books. This is Mermaid. This again is a book that is not new to him, but new to me, and I colored this one. And I think I did this one. I can't remember what I used in this one, but I think this was either just This might have been my Copics. I can't remember. This might have been my Copic markers. I'm not sure, but some type of alcohol marker. But I did this like little DJ girl, and she's real cute. I did have some streaking here with some of the blue, but that's all right. I still think it looked really great, and I don't know why, but this little octopus guy or squid guy still reminds me of a, I think it's a squid, reminds me of a hamburger for some reason. I think just some of the colors, but it's really cute. I really like that one. 50 Animal Mandalas. Again, another book that's offered in a non-color by number version, and this one is the one that I did. This was a buddy color with Angelina. She's at DreamCloud51 on Instagram. And this one is one of my absolute favorites that I did for the month. This probably is my favorite picture I did for the month. So I colored this with my towel tree markers just because the spaces are kind of small. And then I used my Jelly Roll Glaze on it. I used some white gel pen, but I used my Jelly Roll Glaze to do the outlining. So all of that darker outlining, it does give it some like three-dimensional type of a look. And the Jelly Roll Glaze gives it this kind of just glossy color. It's kind of interesting to run your fingers across it. It kind of feels a little plasticky, but I love the effect. And so I went over each of the flowers. I went over the flamingo with it, and I decided I'm going to use my Jelly Roll Glaze a lot more. I even ordered some of the darker colors because I really, really like the effect that it gives. It's glossy without being sparkly. So if you want something that gives maybe a little bit more dimension to your page without having to use something that's just like glitter, use Jelly Roll Glaze. They're fantastic. I thought this turned out great. So I'm very, very happy with that. Next, this is the Mermaid Stained Glass Color by Number. This is from Sunlife Drawing. And I completed the first page here. I used my towel tree markers here. I made a couple little boo-boos with the colors, but ultimately I'm very, very happy with how it turned out. This is probably my favorite of this particular series just because it is a little bit more easy. Now, I did reach out to Sunlife Drawing. I had a really hard time getting a hold of them, but eventually they did respond. Some of these lines in between the thicker, bolder lines are much lighter, like much thinner than what they are in some of their other books. And so I just mentioned that to them and was like, hey, when you're coloring with alcohol markers, that's kind of a difficult experience. And so they did respond to me, and they said that in their next books coming forward, they would make that correction. So I thought that was very nice of them to do that. Color by Number Christmas Mosaic. This I am doing as, this is one of my 10 books to finish, but I was also doing this for Jolly Coloring 2021, which I think is Danny Button's hashtag for the year. My goal to do 2 pages out of this book this month, but I just wasn't able to do it. So I did get 1 page done, and I think I used, what did I use in here? I think I used my Copics. I think so. Nope. I use my Cali Arts in here. I know that because of the color purple. There's not an exact purple match in the Copics like there is there. So I use my regular Cali Art markers in here. Really like how this turned out. I think I'm also getting close to being done. I'm a little over halfway done with this book. So I should hopefully be done with this book by the end of the year, and we'll hopefully get a little more inspired. I find that once I get really close to being done with a book, like within 5 pages, I feel the need to color like all 5 at one time. So I'm getting close. I think I have maybe 9 more pages or something, so maybe a couple more months of coloring out of this book, and then I'll probably just knock out the rest of it and just be done with the book. All right, we are now on to Color Questopia. This is their Mandala Color by Number. I always get their black background version. I love the black background versions by them. This one, I do love this mandala book as well. This one's really nice. This also has 35 images in their book. I think it sounds like that's going to be a standard because they just came out. I think their mom book also has 35 images. And then they're coming out with a spring book that also has 35 images in it as well. So this one I did complete with my Copic markers, and love how bright these are and how beautiful they turn out. So I will probably do more in here. I've seen a lot of people, gosh, a lot of people have been using the Sachin Sachdeva book and this book. I need to get back into these because I do really like them. Beautiful, beautiful mandalas for coloring. This is the Unicorn Color by Number book. This I think is a yes, this is a year-long color along with Wren Kelly. We are trying to finish this book and get this book done by the end of the year. So another Color Questopia book, hopefully, that I will complete. This is one that only has 20 images. So I did this unicorn here, and I'm using some sort of a dual metallic on their horns in each picture. Hopefully you can see that a little bit. A dual metallic on each of the horns in here, and I like that. So I think I'm just using my Cali Arts or Copics. I have no idea what I'm using, but I'm using something. And then I did this guy here. He looks a little grumpy to me. He doesn't look too excited to be a magical unicorn, but he still looks really good. So yeah, so I completed that one there as well. And so for the month of May, I will be doing this one and this one. I'm kind of going in order. Wren did message me this morning that I think she's going to pick like 2 random ones to do this month, but I think I may still just continue to go in order throughout the book. So we'll see. This is the Mom Mother's Day coloring book. So this was also a newer book by Color Questopia. And I completed this one. I changed some of the colors in here. I changed the hair color and I changed the color of the shirt. I did this just to be more of a likeness to me and my daughter Emma. So I did this kind of as an ode to us. And I really like how this turned out. I think this turned out really beautiful. I used my Copic markers in here. And yeah, it's real sweet. I love being a mom. It's the best. And so it's really sweet that they came out with a book dedicated to mothers. Sorry, I keep hitting the tripod. I'm just running out of room. Inspirational Quotes. This is Dream Big, Shine Bright, black background version. This is one of their newer books as well. They came out with this past month. This is really cool because it has a lot of kind of a mixture of different images in it. And I did this one with this owl. And in this one, I just used, I think, my Copic markers. I used some stickles on the stars to give it some shine. I also used some stickles on the bird's eyes. I love how colorful the bird is, and I used some dual metallic, Divical dual metallic on the words and the quote. And I think I used just a tiny, tiny bit of white gel pen. The background is Jane Davenport pastels. I think it's the Cool Palette version. It's the Cool Palette one, and I just used that to kind of create, since I saw the stars, I was like, I need it to be more of kind of a night sky. So I used kind of the darkest blue that I could find in there, and love it. I think he turned out great. Chibi Girls, a black background. I did this one too, and I did this as a buddy color with Amanda. She is Downy Amanda on Instagram, and yeah, I did this one. I changed, the only thing I think I changed with her was her hair. I made it 2 different hair colors instead of just one to give it kind of almost look like she had some highlights. I used some Jelly Roll Glaze on her eyes. You can see her eyes kind of have that glazy look to them. She looks like she's almost in a trance a little bit. And then I just used some white gel pen to create some details, and I did just some dots and stuff kind of along her top to almost make it look like beading on her top. So yeah, so I used that, and I think I used my Copic, no, this might have been my Cali Art markers. I think I used my Cali Art markers in here. So yeah, so really love how that one turned out. So that's one of my favorite Color Questopia books. And then last but certainly not least, from Flowers and Gardens, this is the black background version, and I did this one with Meg's Art Atrium. She is here on Instagram. I did this with, I have no idea what markers I used, but I used something. I think it might have been my Cali Art brush markers, because I think this one killed my green marker here. There's lots and lots of green in this book, so I did some shading on this just with I just kind of outlined in a darker color with my Cali Art brush markers on here. Did I use any white gel pen? I don't think I used any white gel pen here. I think that was all that I did. And so, yeah, really love that book. So that is it for me. That wraps up everything for the month of April. I hope you all are having just an absolutely fantastic month, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye.